So, listen up, boys.
No.
Trolley sour gummy worms. You familiar?
The
No.
fuck are gummy worms?
Okay, I know he's fucking with me, but you're familiar with gummy worms, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Jeremy?
I know of the
And,
concept.
and like the sour gummy worms, it's like a
They have maybe powdered like sugar on them.
well, it's citric acid.
Okay.
To make them sour,
Uh,
and they're like two colors.
you are describing like something I would believe that exists, but I have never had it.
I'm actually stunned. You don't know what these
Here's
are.
the thing: I didn't really like that. I didn't really like gummy worms or gummy bears and stuff for basically my entire life. I was gonna say like there was a
What the
point where I was
fuck?
suddenly like not having. I was like, nah, I love this. That just wasn't the type of candy that I would eat.
Well, I love sour candy, but
Okay.
Adrian, you're familiar with these, right?
Yeah, I am.
All
Of
right,
course
so
I am.
I'm sorry, but I have a pop quiz for you.
Ah, fun.
All right,
Only people who were.
I mean you
familiar.
can try to play too.
Yeah.
So they're gummy worms, right? There's 3 different variants, and they're all like half and half, 2 different colors.
Like a green and a red.
Well,
Uh-huh.
that's what I was gonna ask.
What's green?
What are the colors?
All right, so I know it's blue and is it pink or is it red?
It's pink, but
yeah,
yes,
whatever. I know it's those two. I know there's one that's green and yellow. I'm pretty sure.
It's green and orange.
Is it green and orange?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's still
damn it,
pretty
that was gonna
close.
be
Yeah. But they're
Um,
all pretty close in their colors. And what about
yeah.
the third one?
Magenta and cyan.
No, that's the pink and blue one.
No. There's a fourth one. You're coming to me like I don't know my gummy worms. The magenta and cyan, black and ruby. That was another one.
What's the third one, Adrian?
I'm blanking on this.
So see, that's why I want to talk about this, because it's orange and green,
Uh-huh.
pink and blue, and then red and yellow are the 3 colors. Now, if you are unaware, for people who are unaware, Jeremy,
Mhm.
all of the gummy worms have a different flavor to them, and
Mm.
each of the colors are their own flavor. So it's like 2 flavors in one kind of thing.
Ah.
I bought an enormous bag of these the other day from my local grocery store, and I am stunned by the flavors that they claim these gummy worms are. Adrian, the orange and green one, what are the 2 flavors?
All right, so green, I'm assuming green apple. Orange, I'm just gonna assume it's gonna be orange.
So orange is correct. The green is lime,
I mean, okay,
which is like fine.
limes are green.
That
sure.
one makes sense. The yellow and red one.
So like if I were making them, I would make yellow banana because like
Ugh,
you know,
you disgust me.
whatever. But
I hate banana flavored candy.
wow. I'm going to assume it's lemon,
Mm-hmm.
and then what was the other color?
Red.
Red. What
Cherry.
pairs? Sure.
What the fuck did you say?
Cherry.
Yeah. So it's cherry and lemon. Now this is the one that I'm absolutely stunned by. Pink and blue.
Pink is watermelon.
It's not watermelon. What's the only other pink though in candy?
Strawberry.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
strawberry. But what about the blue?
Yeah.
Blueberry.
That's what I would guess. Would you also guess blueberry typically?
No, I'm gonna guess it's like pomegranate or something like that.
No, it's fucking grape.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
apparently grape. They made grape blue. Also, it doesn't taste like grape or even candy grape.
Also, just like future Lindsey, who's probably either just sent me a message or is currently sending me a message. I know. Yeah. I couldn't
Oh.
believe it either.
I really hope that fucks her up, dude.
Because it was the amount of times the podcast goes out and that she'll just send me a message and be like, Jeremy, I cannot believe you were so staunch on that opinion. I'll be like, I don't even remember saying that, to be completely honest.
Oh, dude. Also, I'm not a monster. I brought gummy worms.
Oh, fuck
Because
yeah.
we're
Thank
talking about gummy
God.
worms.
I was about to say you should.
Oh, I can't wait to try my very. Yeah, here's the thing.
No,
I've had-
generally, just bite the blue one and tell me if that's grape to you.
What a great out of context quote that was. I'm not gonna lie. Are they always this small?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know,
they've
right?
always
They
been that
really
small.
are.
Honestly, it doesn't taste like anything to me.
It's definitely not grape.
Actually,
I can taste it.
no, I could see it.
I taste a grape there.
Yeah.
Really, I don't get it at all. And I was talking to my girlfriend Meg about it. She doesn't either. She was like, "What the fuck, grape?" And I blows my mind. Also, we shouldn't eat most of these on on recording.
Welcome to the ASMR version of the podcast.
It's a gummy worm.
I didn't even
barbershop.
think about that. That's gonna be awful. Oh, so I just had my first gummy worm. That's all right.
Wait,
Yeah,
first
I like 'em.
ever? Like you've actually never? I thought you were fucking with us.
No, he has a face he makes when he's fucking with you.
Yeah.
It's harder to tell when it's only audio, when you're on like Discord with him or something.
Mhm.
It's like, no, like, are you actually fucking with me? He goes, oh yeah, I'm fucking with you. And it's like, okay, it still sounds like you're fucking with me.
Oh yeah. No, I honestly don't think I have had similar snacks. There's the big rainbow strips.
Yes, yeah,
okay,
it's
yeah.
basically the exact
I
same
think
thing.
they're
from
called
Airheads.
Gay Pride. Just
Gay Pride
flavor.
Airheads,
And I
yeah.
was just like, I love me some of this. Get me more.
See, that'd be a good name. I believe they're called Airhead Extreme Sours.
Oh yeah.
But that and Lindsey is probably also about to say that's just an alternative name to Gay Pride. They're just like, we're going to Gay Pride. You mean Extreme Sours? Like, fuck yeah, we are.
I love that.
That's what people on the end say.
On the note of you being like, whenever someone messages you and you're just like, I don't even fucking remember saying that.
I'm gonna be very confused in a few months when someone's like, Jeremy, there's actually is another there is another term for Gay Pride, and it's not Extreme Sour. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would I say that?
Well, what's funny is Adrian brought up a good point because he's been doing like After Effects stuff, and he was like,
Mhm.
hey, if you want to get like clips from different episodes and like send them over to me, he's like, I'll like do a little After Effects stuff and we can post them on social media. And I was like, oh, cool, that's a great idea. I know I said the social media like a boomer, by the way, but I just want to skip right past
Put it up there on the internet. I guess you would say that. I said, like, that was the most boomer thing. It's like, yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
But I sat there and I was like, okay, there's the fruit roll up skinwalker thing,
Which is hilarious, by the way.
which is hilarious.
That I can't believe that so many people have complained about that. Because
Wait, people have complained? I thought that was everyone's favorite bit.
It's my favorite bit.
every time someone tells me about that, they're like, Jeremy, people found that very weird for you to say." And I'm gonna settle this once and for all. I think it's weirder that people are like, Jeremy, fuck your mom like a normal person. don't be a fucking pervert over
Or
here,
your
Jeremy.
sister. Or like any other.
It's like,
Do cousins count?
Like,
Probably.
I honestly probably wouldn't count because I can't fuck a skeleton because apparently that's not dead enough for something. They're gonna be like, oh, sorry, that was actually your third cousin once removed. Like, yeah, you're not in.
But then the other thing was like, all right, the zippers can't freeze bit. That's probably like our earliest bit. But then I was like, man, are we not funny or can I just not think of anything? I think the answer is both. But so I messaged two of our big fans, Lindsey and Dylan, and I was like, hey, shout out. Like, what are some bits that you know? And both of them were just like list of bits. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. But at one point, Lindsey says to me, and she goes, oh, Jeremy's credit card meme. And I was like, Lindsey, I'm gonna be real with you right now. I have no fucking idea what you're talking.
Did you eventually find it? I'm
Yeah,
actually very curious.
She's referring to when your credit card got declined at Disney.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and
that's kind of what I assumed.
I had the exact same reaction of like, oh yeah, that one. But no, yeah, I even edit these, so I not only am in the podcast, but I do listen to them at least once through.
Yeah.
I don't remember shit we say.
It's funny. It's because that is literally the only episode. I cannot tell you what it was for, but that is the only episode I've actually like watched to completion. Because
was that Bob Lazar, that one?
It might have been Bob.
I think it was.
Because another bit that one of them mentioned was you fucking trying to call your dad in the Bob Lazar episode to be like, can this isotope exist?
Mhm. And he hit me up being like, nah.
Yeah, which is pretty great.
Your dad doesn't know that. It can be legit.
I mean, here's the thing.
Come on, man.
You know what? What he actually said was, I have no fucking clue because we have not done that yet.
We also learned that he doesn't know what how to pronounce beignet. So,
well, yeah. To be fair, neither did I. Neither did my mom. And I brought it up to my brother, and he had the funniest reaction. Where he goes, "Huh, sounds about right." And then I was like, "That's not weird to you that we've been saying a word wrong for years?" He's like, "No, things happen."
He's a chill dude. He's a chill dude. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of crack open a Cryptid. These ones aren't going to pop very well. These are Twisted Tea. Adrian, I believe you've never had these, right?
Never. Hang on.
Yeah, it's weird. They're not carbonated.
Oh.
They're just in a can.
Oh, that's weird.
But it is alcoholic iced tea. They are lovely.
I'm not gonna lie. The only
Why
reason
would
I
it be
really
carbonated?
wanted
It's iced tea.
Because it's in a can, and
Yeah.
most people when they crack open a can expect it to be carbonated.
So the only reason I really wanted to try these is I've been wanting to try Twisted Tea ever since that video of that one guy in the 7-Eleven guy who got cracked by a Twisted Tea.
Oh yeah, just absolutely fucking swiped by a Twisted Tea.
Yeah.
They're really good. So I gave you, Adrian, because you never had one, the original and the one you're sipping on now, which is the peach version, because I know you like peach stuff.
I should have had the first one, the original.
Yeah,
first.
to get like a baseline, but
Yeah.
whatever. My two favorites are the ones I took though, are the raspberry one and the half and half, which is like a alcoholic Arnold Palmer, which I'm a big fan of. Jeremy, you seem to be enjoying those gummy worms over there.
I need to lean in because I
moved
have
away.
to lean away like Tay Zonde singing Chocolate Rain. And in case anyone's worried, yeah, that is obviously a dated reference. Suddenly everyone was just like, oh yeah,
That's right, you did do that.
No, I'm trying to not make it an ASMR podcast, but also I think a big issue for me eating these things is probably that they were worm shaped. It wasn't even the flavor. I was just like, no, I'm not doing worm shaped because I mean I ate gummy bears and things like that.
Yeah.
But that being said, I would never have eaten gummy bears had someone not have given them to me like this. I'm never going to go to the store and buy gummy worms.
Oh yeah, no, I feel you.
But sometimes it's just like, oh hey, these are things.
Yeah, these exist.
Same thing with jelly beans. Unless they're those Harry Potter jelly beans, I have not bought them.
Wait, what are the Harry Potter jelly beans?
They're original Bean Boozled, essentially.
Oh, gotcha.
And they, my God, I'm just remembering back to when we were doing that in high school.
Oh my God, yes!
And
someone bit into the vomit flavored one, and the entire room immediately reeked of vomit.
I'm just remembering me getting one. It was soap, and me thinking, "Thank the Lord."
Well, Meg and I think Adrian, you might have participated a couple times. We have this thing where we have a Bean Boozled, and when we play Apex Legends,
that was part of the film.
Yeah, whenever the match ends, whoever did the least amount of damage has to eat a Bean Boozled. I just pour the box down my throat. Like that would be the easiest solution for me. If Meg is listening, she's going, "Yeah, I know, because I did that." But anytime I would lose, I got a quote unquote bad bean every single time, and it was always toothpaste, which is not a bad bean. The toothpaste bean, low key, kind of slaps.
Which is the worst one for you?
Do you just
Vomit.
eat toothpaste on a regular basis?
No, but like it's just a mint jelly bean.
No,
Like,
I agree.
whatever.
With him on that, yeah.
Okay.
The other one that doesn't really bother me is fresh cut grass. It's like, yeah, all right, whatever.
I remember that. I definitely remember eating that and being like, I don't like this. One that fucking kills me every time is earthworm. Like
Earthworm is weird.
You have no idea how much
you can taste the dirt.
You're like, man, I wish I was eating vomit right now. When you're eating earthworm.
Earthworm is bad. The other one that kind of fucks me up, just because the stench of it immediately permeates your entire body. Dog food. Dog food just
I don't
fills
think that
my
was the
mouth with
flavor
dog
one.
food fumes.
Nah, dude. The worst one is the booger.
Booger's not that bad. I mean,
It's
booger's
pretty
gross.
bad.
It's pretty gross.
bad.
It's
not
only
in my top
weird
5.
because suddenly you're like, oh, that's what someone else's tastes like.
I've never once thought that, but you're exactly correct.
The worst part about that is that people are now going to be like, okay, well, we're just going to write this down and bring this up anytime something mildly weird. As I was saying that, I was like, I'm sure this joke will not land by some people and they'll find that weird. Fair enough.
But yeah, no, Bean Boozled, it's fun, and it fucking sucks when you get like one of the actually bad ones.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to talk about a little tangent
Oh
here.
shit, we're like doing an episode.
Yeah, we're doing an episode, dude. Now,
Hold on, let me get my diabetes work.
now, Adrian, I'm under the understanding that you, I don't remember if it was you or it was our friend Jasmine, procured a photograph of someone who looks exactly like me. That's not
Yes.
me. Do you still have that photo somewhere?
I probably do. I have to look through my archives of Tyler photos.
You're,
Just gonna breeze, but no,
you
don't
play
ask
a
him.
perpetual game of like one of these is not like the other.
I remember distinctly. It's a guy who looks exactly like me, laying on a bed that has like a full SpongeBob bedspread. That's the photo. That's the photo, and it looks exactly like me. It is frightening. I think he's a little.
It's 1-to-1.
He's a little bigger. Like back when I first saw it, like a few years ago, he was a little bigger. Now I've probably reached his size.
Finally, you know.
But
Maybe he
that-
got thin. Maybe you
Oh,
guys.
shit.
Maybe he stole your.
But yeah, in many cases, people would refer to that person as my doppelganger. Wow,
Everyone's
I'm pretty
got
sure
one.
that's
no,
pronounced.
no,
yeah.
no fucking fanfare for
Sorry,
that
I was
segue?
in the middle of a diabetes worm.
I'm still looking.
They're
for
not
the
good
photo.
for you. They are not good for you.
I'm imagining they're pure sugar.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's gelatin, right?
I remember years ago watching a no, that means they're also pure like horse bone or something like that.
It's so when you eat a jelly bean booger flavor, are you actually eating horse bone flavored boogers or
Well, here-
booger flavored horse bones?
The question that I would always have is like, how are they making it flavored like that?
Dude, oh my god, right? It is incredible how
Because it implies that
Perfect,
someone
they
was
make
like,
the flavor.
hold on. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let me try it. Let me try an original source of whatever they have. Somebody get the fucking lawnmower in here. I'm not sure this is as grassy as I think it should be.
intern vomit directly into my mouth.
They're like, are you sure? They're like, we're doing fucking science here.
I'm imagining every one of these people in a full like lab coat, glasses, but the main guy doesn't have a shirt on under his lab coat. That's the very important thing.
Yeah, I think I've seen that video.
But yeah, we're talking about motherfucking doppelgangers today, dude.
I meant to say everybody has one. I might have actually said that, but everybody has one.
A doppelganger?
Yeah.
Everyone has one.
Everybody has one.
Everybody has one.
Yeah.
I've seen How I Met Your Mother.
Maybe they say that. Maybe I just made that up now and I'm hilarious.
No, it's a running.
That's
bit in How I Met
unfortunate.
Your Mother.
That's unfortunate.
But no, yeah, there is a thing, and I do want to talk about this just before we go in. There's the idea of like, yeah, everybody has one because genetics.
I've heard that.
As genetics, as complicated as it is, math always results in a way of like, yeah, you're gonna run into the same numbers. You know
Sure.
what I mean? It's like the idea of there has to be a planet somewhere in the universe that's basically just exactly like Earth. Because eventually, astronomical odds, when you're speaking astronomically, they're just odds, you know?
Also at the same time, I imagine, you know, you can have a doppelganger that may not have existed in the same time as you. Like,
Yes.
there's a lot of those famous
Oh, like
photos of-
celebrity, yeah.
Yeah, being
like
like-
every person looks like Nick Cage,
Like there's
apparently.
like a million Michael Cera's throughout history.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or the fact that Anne Hathaway in real life kind of looks like Anne Hathaway, Shakespeare's wife, and her husband
Really?
also looks oddly a lot like William Shakespeare.
That's
yeah.
wild. I didn't know that one. But yeah, this cryptid gets its name from a loan word from the German language, translated as doppel, which just means double, and ganger, I think is how you're supposed to say it, which means goer or walker. It is supposed to be written with an umlaut over the A in doppelganger, which is like the two dots over the letter.
What is that like? How am I supposed to pronounce that?
I think like instead of ganger, it's gonger.
So it just like
It's
kind of rounds out the vowel.
I believe that's how it works. If I'm wrong, don't correct me.
I'm not going to correct you on that. I'm going to just correct. What do you mean by it rounds out the vowel?
No,
It's a
I
round
got
tone.
that.
Yeah,
I
it's a
got
round
that.
tone. It's like a musical expression.
Just eat your worm.
Yeah.
Well, because like when you say a, like your mouth just kind of like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it like widens out.
yeah,
but
it like widens out, but
Man, I was halfway through a worm there. I meant to say something. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thanks for your input, big guy.
No longer.
No longer confused.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're good.
Now, well, this is commonly accepted as the name for this type of cryptid nowadays. The idea of a cryptid, of a doppelganger, has existed way fucking longer. Other terms were fetch, alter ego, twin stranger, and in ancient Egypt, they had a creature called the Ka, which is just Ka, which was basically the same creature.
Also, ghouls. The original Middle Eastern ghouls were. They took the form of someone else.
Really? I didn't know that.
Hmm.
Okay, that's interesting. Do another episode on a cryptid. You know so many weird things about these creatures. Anyway, doppelgangers
it's too much
are...
work, and I put a whole fucking page of information down.
I have 3 pages.
Yeah, I'm even more blown away that I got 2.5 hours out of that. The trick is to repeat yourself a lot and say very little information.
So if you don't know, a doppelganger is essentially an exact physical copy of a human being. Typically, they're described as a ghostly apparition, but it is very important to note that a doppelganger is not a ghost. It is a specter, which is different.
Oh, they're not physical?
So they can have physical manifestations, but generally speaking, no, they are not by default physical. A ghost is generally accepted as the soul of a living being that was left behind after someone died, whereas a specter is its own being, not at all related to a living creature. A human does not have to die for a specter
It's
to
like
exist.
a ghost without a
Yes.
without a body, basically.
So it's like a spirit.
I feel like that's really stupid to say a ghost without a body.
But
Like,
no, but yes.
yeah,
There was no prior body to
Yeah.
die to make a ghost. A lot of people describe doppelgangers as the ghost of a living person, which is weird, but kind of when you think through it with that information, sort of makes sense, at least to me. The appearance of a doppelganger, by the way, is considered a horribly grim omen because they are known as the harbingers of bad luck. Various sightings have resulted in anything from health problems developing to losing a job or maybe a relationship, all the way up to outright fucking dying. You just see them. They don't kill you. They don't cause any of this. They are merely the harbinger.
Pretty
You
sure
see
this was
them.
a Twilight Zone episode.
Yes, there is a Twilight
so
Zone
if I
episode
see
about it.
myself like in a mirror or something like that, I might die soon.
Well, it's not. So if you, like this window in front of us, right, is a bit
Mhm.
reflective. If you were looking at your reflection in the mirror and then there was a second reflection,
So someone on the other side of the window.
no, but like also
Oh,
you,
I see.
then that could be considered your doppelganger and something bad is going to happen
Oh,
soon.
so I might not see this person
Physically.
like physical. Oh,
Sometimes you can see it in a reflection. That's why it's a ghostly apparition, is how they describe it. There are a bunch of weird things about doppelgangers, right? Where unlike most ghosts and spirits, doppelgangers can interact with the physical world, a lot like a poltergeist can. Whereas most ghosts, you just kind of like see them walk by. Poltergeist can like do the thing that you do where you just move a can 2 inches and it pisses me off.
Okay, here maybe I'm totally making this up, but isn't a poltergeist also not a it's not a spirit of a dead person?
It's kind of debated with poltergeist whether it's a vengeful spirit that's left over.
Isn't that
that's
a wraith?
fucking with things. A wraith is a type of poltergeist, I believe is how it goes.
Wait,
Whereas a poltergeist can sometimes be a demonic thing as well.
Wait, so what's the difference between a poltergeist and a haunting?
Well, a haunting is usually a poltergeist.
See, the only reason why, because there's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode where they deal with a poltergeist, and I always assumed their explanation for what a poltergeist was like not a made up one, but it might just be where they explained it as like it's not a dead person, it's like the concept of something. Like if you are
that can also be
okay.
it.
So it's like if there's a lot of like if a family lived here and there's like a really gruesome murder, like the concept of all the anger and the fear is
yes,
like
and that's demonic.
okay.
In nature. That is frequently what it is. A lot of time a poltergeist is kind of just a catch-all term used for an angry apparition that can like move things. Whereas most ghosts and spirits can't. Poltergeists can, and doppelgangers can also interact with the real world, but unlike poltergeists, which can, like fucking throw a chair across the room or something, a doppelganger can just fucking walk down the street, open a door, buy a Coke, like a
Dude,
doppelganger...
that's me.
But a doppelganger can exist in the physical world just the same as a normal person can. When you think of it, of a doppelganger, just think it as literally a physical person there. It's just that they have a weird origin, right?
Do they hang around after like do they do things for their own? Like, do they have any kind of self?
Like, do they have a 401k?
Honestly, that was kind of like
so I'm actually going to skip then because that's a good question. I'm going to skip to one of the explanations of what it is because I probably shouldn't have put this in the explanation point either. Have you ever heard of a tulpa?
Is that like a changeling?
No.
Then
You heard
no.
of a tulpa?
No.
So tulpa is a concept based in mysticism where a person who has a strong enough mind and meditates long enough can create a double of themselves called a tulpa. It's sort of think of like astral projection, except the projection
You're
is,
like willing another version of yourself into
yes,
existence.
it's real. Now, a tulpa is an exact copy of the summoner, both physically and containing the same memories. So, it can probably apply for your 401k. And it can be directly controlled by the summoner if they have a strong enough will. But if they do not have a strong enough will, the tulpa will break free and it becomes its own physical sentient being that happens to look exactly like you. And they typically have malintents, right? Evil motives. And one of the explanations for doppelgangers is if you believe in tulpas, doppelgangers are literally just loose tulpas.
Imagine that, like, you get a tulpa for yourself and it breaks free. You forget about it. You come back years later and it just has like its life together, and you're like, how?
yeah. That's how it's fucking with you. It just did everything you did, but better.
It's like, oh my god, he actually set up the 401k.
Do you have a fucking Roth IRA? And it's like, yeah, of course I do. What are you doing? And it's like, I make $10 an hour.
Bro, I'm stuffing my money in the mattress. Like, you use banks?
But yeah, so there are a lot of historical sightings of doppelgangers. The first one would be likely the earliest written sighting of a doppelganger by that name was from a man named Isaac Walton. He claimed that a friend of his, the poet John Donne, saw his wife's doppelganger in Paris back in 1612. So to clarify, because I wrote that kind of stupid, Walton is telling the story that Donne told him, right? John Donne said that he saw the doppelganger of his own wife
in Paris.
In Paris,
so
in
he went to
1612.
Paris. He's like, that can't make any sense because my wife isn't here.
Well, no, she was.
She's actively fucking that guy right there.
They were,
but that's not my wife.
What year was this?
This was in 1612.
Oh.
And what's weird is Donne told this story to Walton, and he said that the night that he saw his wife twice, he saw her twice in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry, that's the stupid way of
Holy
saying
shit!
Basically, he saw her walk by his room twice. Not like walked by to the left and then to the right.
It's like that scene from The Matrix.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a glitch in the Matrix.
Essentially, yeah. So he saw two of her walk by, and that was the exact same night that she gave a stillbirth. So it's believed that the doppelganger was trying to explain that. And this is a quote from Walton where he wrote in his paper. He said, 2 days after their arrival there, Mr. Donne was left alone in that room in which Sir Robert and he and some other friends had dinner together. To this place, Sir Robert returned within half an hour, and as he left, so he found Mr. Donne alone, but in such ecstasy and so altered to his looks as amazed Sir Robert to behold him in much that he earnestly desired Mr. Donne to declare befallen him in the short time of his absence. I'm going to just go over that real quick because I fucking hate how people write in this time. They're having a dinner party. Robert doesn't see Donne for a while, for about an hour and a half, finds him again and is like, bro, you look fucked up. What the hell happened in like the last hour or so? To which Mr. Donne was not able to make a present answer, but after a long and perplexing pause, did say at last, quote, I have seen a dreadful vision since I saw you. I have seen my dear wife pass twice by me through this room with her hair hanging about her shoulders and a dead child in her arms. This I have seen since I saw you. To which Sir Robert replied, Sure, sir, you have slept since I saw you, and this is the result of some melancholy dream which I desire you to forget, for you are now awake. To which Mr. Donne's reply was, I cannot be surer that I now live than that I have not slept since I saw you, and am assured at her second appearing, she stopped, looked me in the face, and vanished. So Donne saw his wife twice, explained this to him because the second version of her was carrying a dead baby. They did not have a child yet. This was to be their first child, their daughter, but she gave a stillbirth that night. He explained this to Robert, and Robert said, like, dude, you probably just fucking fell asleep and had a nightmare. Like, don't worry about it. And he said, I was just as conscious when I saw her look at me and vanish as I am right now talking to you. So he genuinely believes that he saw this. Mm-hmm. And that's probably the earliest depiction of a doppelganger by the name of a doppelganger, which is a little weird because that would, first of all, just seeing your wife walking with a dead baby and just being like, hi, honey, that's fucked up. That would ruin me. I don't even need to see two of her. That alone is enough to fuck me up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that doppelganger was ghostly, right?
Is that baby also a doppelganger?
That's what's weird about that particular site.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad you brought that up because fucking maybe, like, I guess,
mean,
right?
At that point, it would be a doppelganger of the baby.
Of the stillborn baby, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so can you just, is it two doppelgangers or is it one doppelganger manifesting like an image of a dead baby, you know?
Yeah.
Like magically kind of thing.
Well, that also brings to the question, do they have to go find an outfit that matches what they're currently wearing, or can they project?
They like spawn like that essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. So somewhere there's an untapped market of just infinite clothes. It's like, what do? We just get doppelgangers. We fucking beat the shit out of them, take their clothes.
Just get some guy in an Armani suit and just be like, make a tulpa now. One of the most famous stories, though, that was probably the earliest one, but one of the most famous is from a woman named Emily Segee. Her story was first told by the author Robert Dale Owen in 1860 in his book, Footfalls on the Boundary of Another World. Emily was a 32-year-old school teacher with a poor track record of employment. She had been fired from 18 schools in the last 16 years.
Why?
Because she claims her problems stemmed from her doppelganger, who would manifest at seemingly random times and terrify her students, so much so that they would end up firing her.
Did she ever see that happen? Sounds like, what if she just had like dissociative identity disorder?
Keep that in your brain.
Okay.
Her students claimed to see the doppelganger constantly, and they said that she would appear in class and she would begin mocking and imitating Segee and just kind of like fucking with her, you know? But Emily herself never once saw the doppelganger, which is actually a good thing because the only power a doppelganger has over you is if you physically see it. If you see your doppelganger, that's the bad omen.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great. She kept getting fired. It's like,
Yeah.
You're fucking lucky, you know?
Well, she didn't die from it, you know?
I guess that's true, but like maybe
But she kept getting fired.
Yeah.
Which isn't great.
In the 1800s, she couldn't afford food.
It's just she probably did die. Yeah. But the most well-known sighting of Emily Segee's doppelganger was one day when 42 girls saw Emily. So there's 42 witnesses to this. Saw Emily through the window of their sewing class, and they saw Emily gardening outside. When the supervisor of the class had to step out for a moment, Emily came inside and sat down to watch over the girls in the meantime. This was totally normal, happens all the time, until one of the girls pointed out, hey, isn't Miss Segee still gardening out there? So they were sitting in class, saw her sitting at the front desk, and if they turned to the side, could see her gardening outdoors.
Well, that's ominous.
It's a little ominous, right? This was fucking terrifying. The students screamed, got up, ran out of the classroom, and told anybody who would listen what just happened. This made such a commotion that the faculty once again terminated Emily's employment.
It feels
It feels weird to fire her for that, right?
It's like finding out you have a ghost in your house and your employer's like, yeah, no.
There wasn't an investigation. There wasn't like any.
She's a woman in the 1800s. No one gave a shit.
But why would they care about 42 lesser women?
Yeah, because those are children.
like it was. How are we dealing with that? We're like, oh, we respect the opinions of.
Well, because they're not married yet. They can still be married off. Emily's 32.
I hate to break it to you. You have even less of an opinion for the unmarried.
But yeah, no, I think it's just a weird reason to fire someone because she's technically doing two jobs at once.
I know.
You should give her a raise.
Bro, they're like, okay, here's the thing. She wants to like organize my files and teach a class. She can do that.
Yeah, right? Sounds great. And
teach two classes at once.
So I happen to notice, Adrian, you're interested in this. Jeremy, you're not pissed off yet.
No.
So I'm hoping this story will piss you off.
Why? All right.
You ever hear about a little known man named Abraham Goddamn Lincoln?
Bro.
Fucking love it.
Have I heard about AL?
So this story, I'll tell you right up front, widely contested by historians, but
that
what
is
the
even
fuck do they know?
My favorite part about that is that you're like, apparently some people have said that this whatever made up story might not be real.
If anything, it sounds like they're just trying to cover it up to me.
Let me guess. Abe Lincoln was...
Oh, I thought that was it. I was like,
no.
It is about Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, I'm trying to... Give me a hint. In fact, just tell me the whole thing.
All
Then I'll tell you whether or not I... Okay.
So during Lincoln's first day in the White House, he was awake and restless. Roaming his room, he walked up to a mirror to just get a look at himself. While looking at his reflection, he then saw his own visage appear over his reflection's shoulder. It's actually exactly what we were talking about with the reflection earlier, looking in a mirror. But what was weird about the second reflection is that it was pale and sickly. So, sick to his stomach, Lincoln rushed back to bed and just tried to fall asleep, right?
Did it have a beard?
I mean, probably.
Because he didn't have a beard in his first term. I'm wondering, like, if it had a beard, maybe that would have.
Well, kind of keep that in mind, actually, of like the first term versus second term. That does come up in a second.
Okay.
Over the next few weeks, he would see his doppelganger a few more times. It was so frequent and so prevalent that even his wife, Mary Todd, saw it a few times, and she attests to this story, but tried to reassure Abraham by saying, this must mean that he's just going to serve 2 terms, because there's 2 of you, and there's 2 of you in the White House. You're probably just going to serve 2 terms.
Right. It's like the Paul McCartney thing. The second Abe Lincoln wasn't the original.
But after her reassuring him, he actually stopped seeing his doppelganger for a little while. Years later, he saw the doppelganger one more time, and it was the night before him and Mary Todd were to visit the theater.
Did it have a beard then?
Probably.
Here's a totally unrelated story. First of all, like, bullshit. Second of all,
yeah.
because the problem with that story is that there's a lot of times, you know when you hear someone who has maybe a fishing story,
Like,
and
it's this big.
and you're like, okay, well, I can kind of follow the train of thought that got you to, like, I can follow the telephone of you telling that story.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, oh, happened right before Ford's Theater. Like, bro, like, it could happen anytime. But like,
Yeah.
maybe they shortened the distance, and over time it was
Yeah.
like on the night.
Yes, yeah.
Here's a totally unrelated thing, but something that I find interesting, and by the way, might be totally untrue, because I think I learned about this on a meme.
And
but
everyone say it after me. If we're wrong, don't tell us.
yeah. Also, if we're wrong, just start using that more. Maybe more people will think that and will retroactively be right.
We've almost never been wrong on the show.
I don't
though.
think we've been wrong once.
Yeah, we've never been wrong.
Yeah.
Even when I was clearly wrong about the zipper thing.
No, you weren't wrong.
Yeah, no.
They simultaneously can and cannot freeze. It's Schrodinger's fucking zipper.
Yeah. Abe Lincoln didn't have a beard in his first term, but he did in his second term. Do you know why?
Lice.
Lice in the
Lice was gonna be
like
my
he was
guess.
always bearded, and then he was like, I got some lice. Only gonna shave my beard.
Yeah.
So what
Well, I
happened?
assume he shaved his balls too.
Not his head though, like the big
Well,
mass of hair.
All right, first of all, it's called manscaping. Look it up, sweetheart. Lincoln was the first manscaper, and we all know it.
Yeah, you know what? I have no reason to believe that
he didn't have crystal clean balls, right?
Yeah, I remember. I think that's what John Wilkes Booth said right before he yelled "Sic Semper Tyrannis." He was like, "Did you see the clean balls on that guy?"
Well, if I remember correctly, that was in Mary Todd's vows. She
Mhm.
was like, "I just want to get a taste of those clean testes."
God.
The more this conversation went on, the more I'm like, boy, do I wish I wasn't here.
The only facts that I know about Lincoln come from the book Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Doesn't mention his clean balls.
It doesn't, but it does mention the doppelganger, and actually the reason
Oh,
why
really?
the reason he was so pale, it was a vampire trying to kill him.
Oh,
Huh.
obviously.
Anyways, he got his he got his beard because during his first term he got sent a letter. I don't know if that person is named or is like particularly referenced a lot, but the letter was by like a 14, 15-year-old girl, and she basically said, "Dear Mr. Lincoln, you currently do not have a beard, but I will inform you that beards are hot as fuck. And if you have a beard, then people will think you're hot, and everyone's wife will tell their husband to vote for you in the term." And he apparently
He was
was
"That's
like,
some sound logic.
he was apparently like, well, I'm not gonna. Let's do it. Let's do it. And so supposedly that is why he has a beard.
I love that.
Is because apparently it was a tactic to get him reelected.
I have a beard because I was like, I wonder how it would look with a beard. And then I was like, oh, it's November and fucking people do no shave November, I guess. So I'm just like going to be lazy and not shave. And then by the end of the month, I had a full ass beard and I was like, yep, guess that's sticking around forever.
It's funny, like, because I shaved very regularly through high school. And as soon as we graduated, I was like, well, I don't know. I guess I was just doing less things, especially over that summer, that I just didn't shave, and I was like, oh, my beard looks kind of whatever. So now it's like, oh, I'll basically go a whole month, shave my beard, go another whole month, shave my beard, and just saves lots of time.
Dude, my hair grows insanely fast and I hate it. If I shave my beard completely, it would be back by the end of the month.
Well, when I went to go get my hair cut, my friend who was cutting my hair, he was like, hey, do you want to get a straight razor shave? And I hadn't had one before, so I thought, sure, why not?
Kind of wild, right?
And so his straight razor was was like a refillable straight razor.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a knife that looked like a knife. Really, it held like a razor in it. And he was like, yeah, like as he's doing the first thing, I say, hey, do you have to do it every time? Do you have to get a new razor? And he was like, for the most part, yeah, but also like just due to COVID, maybe I don't want to be using the same thing. And I was like, well, to be fair, you did just cut my hair with probably the same scissors that you cut someone else's hair with. And he starts shaving my face and maybe gets a quarter done, and he goes, huh, the razor's it's dull. and then he goes and gets another razor and shaves again, and goes, the razor's dull again. And he goes, I don't know how to tell you this, but apparently your hair is so thick that it's going to take 5 razors to
got some powerful hair there.
And I was just like,
that's incredible.
You can just use a electric shaver. I do not care. It was a novelty. I don't need it. At a certain point, he was like, yeah, just go.
Yep. And it just comes right off,
Yeah.
right? It's almost like technology is good.
It was not as close. Like I will say, noticed.
You do notice.
You noticed the stubble like way earlier than I did on the straight razor bits.
I haven't gotten a full straight razor shave, but I have gotten like, the inner parts done. It is, I'm gonna admit, it's a little freaky just being like, there's a man I barely know with a knife to my neck.
I wasn't as
he could have Sweeney Todded me right there.
Yeah, see, that's I wasn't as thrown off until he started doing my throat, and I was like, okay,
it's a little upsetting.
If you completely skin my cheek, fair game. Like
that'll come back.
That me having a massive scar on my face is fine in comparison to me having my throat slit. You
ever have a straight razor?
Never,
shave?
and I never will.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah,
I'm not super into
it. It also does not feel comfortable.
Well, like,
no,
all right,
it kind of hurts.
Getting my hair cut in general, like I'm just always afraid that they're gonna like snip a ear or something.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I've
I've been there when a dude got the tip of his ear snipped off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
it wasn't tip of my ear, but like on like a shear, like electric shear. I've had like my ears clipped with it, and it'll just be like like the inside of your ear, that really thin bit just like completely slices the and it's like and then they're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's like that will literally heal just like
by the end of the day.
Yeah, don't.
So let's talk about the explanations for doppelgangers, right? We already talked about the Tulpa one, which is kind of a shit explanation anyway, because it's like, well, yeah, this fake thing exists only if this other fake thing exists.
It does kind of imply that Lincoln was like a really high level mystic.
Well, let me tell you, that man could really pound some fruit roll-ups.
Oh no.
Well, the Civil War was brother fighting brother, right? So
that's the level of technicality.
Do you think he absorbed all of the skinwalker energy from brothers killing brothers during the Civil War because he was the one who was leading them?
All I can say is that during the Civil War, if you didn't cash that in at any point, like you were just like,
right?
You were like, oh, I just shot like my metaphorical brother, and they're like, that doesn't really count. It's like, are you sure?
That's funny because I'm kind of turning into a bat as we speak. So we kind of mentioned a little bit earlier with the poltergeist, but one of the explanations is demonic, right? The early ideas of this cryptid stemmed from demonic roots, claiming that a person's spirit double would manifest in order to teach them a lesson or potentially punish them for a prior misdeed. The ancient Egyptian Ka, which I mentioned earlier, that's basically exactly what they did. They would show up to be like, you fucked up, bitch, and either have them try to fix it or they'd punish them for it, and that would move on. But in the mythology of Breton, Cornish, Welsh, and Norman folklore, they had a version of a doppelganger called the Ankou, which acted as a personification of death itself. So if you saw your doppelganger in that mythology, that was kind of also their version of the Grim Reaper. You would reap you, essentially.
Oh.
Which I thought was kind of neat, but weird.
What if like you're getting reaped, and they just don't look like you, and you're just like, excuse me. I am a little like, I know I'm here to die, but I would like some explanation.
So, I do want to talk about a bit of a throwback to Dyatlov Pass.
Ooh, fun.
You remember the gravity distortion phenomena?
Yeah, I mean that's obviously what happened there.
Yeah.
You know how fucking stupid that was?
I also remember the zipper phenomena.
Must be relegated to only tent. This is on a similar vein of like, shut the fuck up, man. This is time distortion phenomena, not gravity distortion phenomena. One theory claims
time does distort in real life.
Well, but
Well, time is relative.
This claims that time can overlap with itself, resulting in places and periods where there's a distance between the 2 points of a timeline that aren't actually as far apart as we think they are. Where if time loops in on itself, essentially 100 years from now, in this room, during this period of time, is actually right next to us. And if a tear in reality occurs, you can essentially see to the future.
Oh yeah, okay.
Or see to the past.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's basically how it works in Dark Souls.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the giant memories or whatever.
No. The general explanation in Dark Souls how the multiplayer works.
Oh yeah.
Is that you exist in different timelines, but you can like pull someone from another
Mhm.
timeline in.
There's multiplayer in Dark Souls.
Are you actually fucking
I
kidding?
mean, I know that there is in Bloodborne.
Yeah,
Yeah, all of the
it's
Souls
same,
games have
it's
that.
the
I
same
never
mechanic,
played Dark
yeah.
Souls with the online.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it fucking blows.
Yeah. Oh.
I hate the PvP in that game. Basically, one dude has a McDonald's Wi-Fi connection and he just wins because he gets to teleport and you don't.
I've never been invaded. Well, that's not true. I've rarely been invaded.
We
in
got
any...
invaded together in Dark Souls 3.
Well,
And then he got killed by a fucking dragon.
that is true. But in the first game, like
Oh yeah, in Dark Souls 1, no, never. I have never been invaded.
in Dark Souls 2, you get invaded regardless of if you are
Oh, like kindled or not?
yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
In fact, there's a lot of times where you'll be invaded by like NPCs. So like if you just go to a part in the map, it'll be like, oh, you're being invaded by this person. It's just a regular NPC. They're only there once, but half the time I'm like, is this a real person? Like this name doesn't quite sound like a name that I would...
It's not Poop Farter 69.
Yeah. It's like the Dick Destroyer. I'm like, oh, is this a real person?
That sounds lore friendly. So the way that some people may be able to see or speak for themselves to a different time is because of this. It's the idea that if time overlaps on itself and you're alive in both of those points in time, you can essentially communicate with yourself in the future or in the past. So a doppelganger could just be you from the future that you are seeing. But then he thinks that you're a doppelganger, but it's actually just you from the past.
Wouldn't he know that it was me from the past?
You'd think.
Wait, but
you would probably just assume that you saw a doppelganger twice.
But what does this have to do?
I
I thought that
I'd
you were
make the
supposed to
connection.
die as soon as you saw them.
No. That just happens sometimes.
It's sometimes always going to happen.
Got it.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, 60%.
60%
Yeah,
of the
60%
time.
of the time it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Now, this theory of time distortion has actually also been used to explain ghosts and how
Mhm.
they exist. Because EVPs, if you don't know, it's an electronic voice phenomena, is when, you know how ghost hunters go to a haunted place, they record, and then fucking phasmophobia happens, and then later it's like, and if you take this audio and clean it up a little bit, you hear this. And first of all, the audio is like, and then in the middle of that, you hear like, help me. And it's like, but there's like subtitles on the screen.
Mhm.
You're like, did he say, is that what it said? Because I don't know if I heard him say help me. And it's like, but I guess they must have, because why would they put the subtitle
Yeah.
there? And it's like, what? The idea for that is that is literally somebody in the past who has died, right? So like, let's say this is a ghost from the 1800s.
Mhm.
This ghost is seeing apparitions, which are actually the ghost hunters from the future looking for her.
Oh,
And so she can look at them and say, who are you? Because
Yeah.
she thinks she's seeing a ghost.
Mhm.
And there have actually been a few different,
I thought you were about to be like, there are a few documented cases where this has happened.
kind of.
Wait, is there?
No.
There are,
Don't fucking say that.
I said kind
don't
of.
say kind
I said
of.
kind of.
You don't be like, yeah, nah.
There have
Wait.
been times where basically a ghost will ask a question, the ghost hunter will respond, and the ghost will answer these questions, kind of thing. But it's this idea of they have reports of somebody who, let me back up a little bit. Let's say that 1800s woman, right? She wrote in her diary 200 years ago that she saw this ghost in her room. They go to look for that same ghost because people have been reporting it for years, and they see her, and she's the ghost to them. And they can basically have a full conversation back and forth using what she wrote in her diary, what she asked the ghost, their responses, and then her response to that.
This is literally that Doctor Who episode,
Yes,
Blink.
it literally is. It is Blink. It straight up is.
Yeah.
Because that has happened a couple times, apparently, with ghost hunting stuff. So this is just, the time distortion theory comes up.
Give me an example in ghost hunting where they have, what do you?
I'm going to go with you. I found so many times where I was looking at this particular theory and they're like, it's happened. I've been like, when? Give me an example. And they're like,
when I was fucking banging my girlfriend from camp, that's when it happened. I was balls deep in this bitch, and then all of a sudden a ghost showed up.
And I was like, what, you want to get in on this? Yeah. And she was like, help me. And I was like, that's what I thought she'd say.
I don't know why, but that I don't like the fantasy of you being like, oh, just nailing this chick, and then I heard someone scream, help me, and I was just like, where are you going with this? Where are you going with this?
But yeah, it just said like, well, this happened all the time. Everyone knows this. And it's like, can you give me an example? Like, why would I need to give you an example? You probably already know. And it's like, all right.
This is like that movie, The Others, by the way. Have you seen the movie The Others with Nicole Kidman?
Will Ferrell.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God.
I've seen The Others,
okay.
Yes.
Have you seen The Other Guys? It's not that funny.
I'll tell you what, The Others isn't very funny.
Yeah? All right.
It's kind of spooky.
Yeah? Well, what's also kind of spooky...
What's a horror movie you see?
Oh,
so,
I see.
Here's if you haven't seen The Others, which came out in maybe 2003, you've had your chance. But the twist is that...
Don't ruin it.
Okay, fine.
No, hit me with the twist.
Well, basically, they're in like the 1800s or some of that, and they're in a haunted house.
Yeah, so for like the whole movie, like it's... They keep running into these ghosts who like all right, so the whole movie you're thinking like, oh man, these spooky ghosts and all this shit.
Does the main characters turn out to be the ghosts?
There you go.
Yeah, all right, cool. So it's basically this. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Main characters like they're dealing with like a seance in like the 50s or something like that.
Okay. Now,
and another thing about it.
It's actually a really good movie starring Nicole Kidman. You should watch it, yeah.
You know, Nicole Kidman is Australian.
I did
know that.
Like, I don't know why, but I'm always blown away by that because it's like, but she doesn't have an accent.
Dude, I genuinely, because I've only seen him playing American characters, I forget that Tom Holland is English. And so there's this commercial that was going around for the new Spider-Man movie that had just him talking normally. I'm like, well, that's a little Brit boy right there.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was doing a fake British accent.
Yeah.
Because I've heard him speak without one exclusively.
Yeah.
So anyway, time distortion theory is actually weirdly supported as well in ancient Norse mythology. This would happen where they called it a Vardoger, I believe is how you're supposed to say it. And it was described as a ghostly being that you would see of yourself. It was essentially a doppelganger, and you would see them doing specific actions. It's literally Wraith from Apex Legends.
Okay.
Where she hears the voices of like, don't do this, do that instead. They would see a version of themselves do something, and if it ended badly, you would know, okay, don't do that. But if it worked, then you would Sherlock Holmes it.
This is basically fucking Dark Souls again.
No, it actually...
Yeah.
I'm fucking crazy. That's literally what it is. seeing how people died on the bloodstains. Who knew? Dark Souls, dude.
Yeah.
Now,
it's a good game.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys told me to play.
But this is one of the earliest ideas of the time distortion theory, as well as doppelganger-esque things. Now, here's the real answer of what a doppelganger likely is. Believe it or not, it's fucking psychosis. Haha. It's your brain getting fucked up. There is a neurological condition known as hotoscopy, I believe is how you say it. And it can
doesn't sound like you said that correct, but
okay, you try. It's A-U-T-O-scopy.
You are going to need to show me that word because I got to H and I forgot.
See psychology.
H-E-A-U?
H-E-A-U. It might be hodoscopy.
Yeah, that would be my guess. Hotoscopy.
Yeah, I'd say hodoscopy.
Okay, so hodoscopy. We're going to go with hodoscopy.
Hiatoscopy.
That's actually how I was saying it in my head when I was writing it. Like how I say Wednesday in my head when I write it.
Right.
Or Peoply for people. I don't know why I do that.
I was so thrown off when you said that because I did not know what word you were trying. Yeah, like Peoply, and I was like, Monopoly.
You're like, in Greece? But yeah, hodoscopy can be associated with schizophrenia and epilepsy, right? So it results in the hallucinations of yourself as if you were seeing your own body from a distance. This is another thing that comes up with like coma patients when they say they have an out-of-body experience. Like, oh, I could see myself laying on the bed. That is hodoscopy.
So
you're kind of making it up, but you can see it so vividly, like in your mind's eye kind of thing, that it's almost like astral projection.
So this is going to be like a really nerfed version of this, but I have this thing where if I have just woken up in the morning, I will often like pick up my phone to browse Reddit or some of that. And
mood.
I will hold my phone up and I literally can think to myself sometimes like my eyes aren't open, but I know but I think like I will think that I'm sitting upright looking at my phone and scrolling through it. And I'll just think to myself, Jeremy, realistically, are there any words on this page? And then I'll be like, no. And it'll be like, you are laying in the bed fully, eyes fully closed.
That's kind of scary.
No, I've had, it would happen a lot to me when I was a kid where like, you'd have a routine before you went to school.
Mm-hmm.
Now when you're an adult, you're like, I'll get to my morning routine at like 3 p.m. I don't know, maybe I won't get to it at all,
unless you actually have to be somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. But when you're not doing anything, you're just like, fucking who cares, I'm not gonna brush my hair today. But I would.
You guys brush your hair when you're not doing
Why
something?
Why do you think I'm wearing hat? Even when I am doing something, I wear hats.
That's true. But yeah, so I would wake
Hats
up.
Look good. I like the hat look.
Yeah, I like the hat look on it.
Get a fedora.
I have multiple fedoras.
Don't get a fedora. Get a trilby.
I think I also have.
Get a trilby and tell everyone you just got this hot new fedora.
I love that idea. But I would wake up in the morning and I would get up, get dressed, brush my teeth, brush my hair, and it would always be I would get to the front door and I'd be opening the door to go out to the car, and then I would wake up. Because I would wake up first, immediately fall back to sleep, and then dream I did my whole routine.
Yeah.
And then I would wake up again and just be like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
It was always scary if I knew that, if when I woke up and I realized, I didn't do my routine, but I was like, I definitely in that dream went pee. And so it's like, please tell me I didn't piss myself.
It's very, because like you reminded me of a time where I did that exact same thing, but I went to school. Like I was literally on my way home from school, and then like my parents were like, hey Jeremy, it's time for school, wake up. I was like, motherfucker.
that would cripple me.
Yeah, I was like, but I already went to school.
do you have any idea of how old you were at that point?
I was like 15, 16.
Yeah,
like
that's around when this would happen to me too.
Yeah.
God, that's never happened to me, but that sounds.
Yeah, no, yours is way worse.
Yeah, it's that has only happened once. Like, maybe I would have like things of me doing morning routine, but like I cannot really like nothing's as vivid as me literally going to school only to be told.
God, I would love if you like went to your history class and there was something where it was like, oh yeah, and so when Cleopatra died in 1812, and you're just like, wow, Cleopatra lived a lot longer than I thought she did. And then for the rest of your life, you just take that fake knowledge from your dream school. And you're just like, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. She died in 1812.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it's like, I learned that in school.
It's hilarious you were saying that, because I have had actually examples in my life where like something would happen and I would dwell on it. And you would, for whatever reason, it would just be like, think about it. And you almost create like, what would I have done differently in this scenario? Mm-hmm. And you kind of create like a
whole alternate universe.
Yeah. And then I would get to points where I would be like, I don't remember which one actually happened. Like I actually cannot distinguish like because like for a really long time, I remember, this is kind of a weird story, but it's not.
Did you make up us meeting?
No. No, I 100%.
Damn, that would have helped my psyche a lot.
To be fair, we don't talk about a huge amount, but it's not like we were hugely chummy.
No, we just had met before.
Yeah, we like I also give you shit. There was another person in your class that we supposedly met in 4th grade. Some of us met each other in 4th grade, some of us didn't. In 6th grade, we had a new student, and she was sitting next to me, and I was talking to her one day. This is like halfway through the year, and she had mentioned that she used to go to the school before, and I was like, "What do you mean? Like what year?" And she goes, "Oh, I was here in 4th grade. I did 5th grade in another school, and I'm back here." And I was like, "Huh? Whose class were you in?" And she was in your class, and I'm looking at a yearbook, and she's like clearly there, and I'm like, I do not remember you at all. Like I'm in that exact same position. Be like, nope, no memory.
Yeah, I had the displeasure of meeting you twice. Adrian only had to meet you once.
Yeah.
Honestly, most people only had to meet you once.
Adrian met me as I met him over Discord.
Yeah.
And then we met each other in real life. And I imagine both of us were like, oh, that is not what I was picturing.
It was not at all. Also, we met each other at like 3 a.m. at a Denny's.
Yeah. That's right. That was the first time you met, huh?
Because I remember like we lived closer to it. So I got there. And the entire time I was looking outside being like, I don't know why, but I really did picture you as way more stereotypically Mexican. Like,
really?
Like I don't know what it
Hops
is.
out of his car, sombrero flopping in the wind.
Yeah, just like a poncho.
Oh baby.
And I was like, that can't be Adrian because
he doesn't have a burrito in his hands.
I honestly I think what happened was that was the only piece of information that I knew. Like there was
that he was Mexican.
Yeah, and
you're
so
like,
my mind was just like, okay, it can only be stereotypical Mexican things. There's nothing else like until someone gives me another detail. Same thing with Meg. I met her
that's what's so funny to me, that I've known you for like half my life.
Mhm.
I've been dating Meg for an upwards of 6 years now. And I was like, I would always forget, like, oh fuck, you two have never met.
It blew my mind when you guys mentioned that that was the first time you guys met.
Yeah.
But I'd seen a photo of her, and so like we met only like a month ago for the first time,
which is insane.
and it was actually at a point where I stepped into the room and I had to pan around and be like,
one of these is
Meg.
Meg.
I have at least know everyone here except for one person, and I actually had to do like a quick scan to be like, which one's which?
Yeah, you were trying to figure out which one was Lindsey and which one was Meg.
Yeah, well, because I also knew what Lindsey looked like.
Yeah,
incredibly difficult, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, Lindsey. I know you're listening, bitch. I know we've talked to her about this before. Every single photo of Lindsey is a photo of a different woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really worried about bringing that up because I just, you're looking, and I didn't want to somehow say something that sounded really rude. It's like, did you know that you have no physical form? But Lindsey, like, she for the longest time had this photo of her
Discord profile, right?
Discord profile. She has the aviators on.
Yeah, aviators, long hair.
And so she then posts a photo of her at the Renaissance Fair, and I was like,
yeah, totally different.
Yeah.
Where is Lindsey in this photo? Is she behind that other woman?
I just figured, okay, maybe one's like a really old photo. She's had a haircut, stuff like that. But then she posts other photos that are clearly from like not the same time frame. And I'm like, it doesn't even like gradient into the next person.
No, it's a wildly different person every single time.
Like she posts a photo where she has like an undercut. By the way, banger haircut.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Agreed.
If Lindsey, if you're listening to this, haircut ruled. Like, I remember I saw that, I'm like, that's someone that's
gotta get
cool.
that undercut again, Linz.
But yeah, and just like every other photo, I'm just like, this isn't the same person. Sometimes you see a photo and you're like, oh my god, these two people almost overlap.
Like if you put an opacity filter on and put them over each other, it's like, no, not quite.
I was just waiting for like there to be a photo of like a black guy, and then and Lindsey's just like, yeah, here's me at the mall or some of that. I'm like, you're fucking with me. No.
Well, like she stayed with Meg and I for multiple days, so I'm like, all right, that's what Lindsey looks like. I am waiting for that woman
every time
to
that you
post
walked
a single
out,
picture and just be like, who are you?
Yeah. Well, also, Yeah, I mean, like that definitely helped. I was finally like, okay, well,
You
at least
physically saw
I
her,
physically know what you look like. I know an all angles version of your face that I can rotate to match
you
the
have
photo.
a 3D model in
Yeah.
your head now. Love you,
Yeah.
Linz.
But-
Bye.
Oh.